Welcome to the 4th episode of Open Book Discussions with a Backyard Bookkeeper. My name is Erin, and today we have Julie, one of the founders, with us again from Backyard Bookkeeper. Hey, Julie.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, and this is a good topic that we have to talk about today. So
it's a really, really good topic for the year end, and everyone's rushing on their 1099. So we're going to let you guys all in the scoop on what you need to know about your 1099s and just jump right in. So first question for you, Julie. What are 1099s and why do we have to have them?
So the basic idea is Congress wants us to automate as much income reporting as possible. So in the same way that, like, if you're working for an employer, it's not your job to just tell the IRS how much you made last year. Your employer is also reporting to the IRS how much you made. And then that way the IRS can verify that you're actually paying the right amount of taxes, right? So the 1099 is kind of is the way to make this happen for people who do contract work and for businesses that provide services to each other. Okay. And so they've increased the rules, or they've increased the regulations around this over the past few years and have made it more important that we get it right. So it's an important thing to do. So basically, if you own a business and you're paying other people to do some work for you and to provide services to your business, then you need to issue 1099s to those people. And it's your way of kind of forcing them to report their income that they got from you. So
as the business owner, you still have to report their income as well.
Yes, exactly.
Even though they're 1099s.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, next question. Okay, that question is not.
No, that's fine. Who do you have to file 1099s for? So the basically what you want to do your bookkeeping for the year, and you add up all the amounts that you paid to different people. Okay. And what you're looking for is anyone that you paid for services. Okay. There's a handful of categories. Okay. So payments to contractors, so individuals or businesses for services, not products. Like, so if you're buying inventory, buying supplies, you don't have to send 1099s for those, but yes, for services. Your lawyer, you got to give a 1099 to your lawyer. One that often gets forgotten is you are supposed to give a 1099 to your landlord for the rent that you paid. If you are paying royalties to somebody, like suppose someone lends you written content or something, or any kind of intangible asset or something, and you're paying them for permission to use that, royalties also get put on a 1099. If you do a giveaway on social media, and you give away something that's worth more than $600, whether you give cash or product, you are supposed to issue a 1099 for stuff that you gave away as winnings. So those are some of the basic categories. There's some caveats though. So you don't have to give a 1099, and this is universal. You don't have to give a 1099 for anything that you paid by debit or credit card. And the logic for that is that when you pay for something using a credit card, then that payment gets processed by a third party. They call them merchant processors. So there's kind of this company that collects the money from the customer and delivers it to the vendor, and that merchant processor is going to give that person a 1099 for all the money that got processed through credit cards. And so if you were to also give them a 1099, they would actually end up getting two 1099s for the same amount of income. So that's why you don't have to issue 1099s for anything that you paid with a card. The other exception is that you don't have to give 1099s to anybody that has a corporation. So, for example, You know, suppose you hire a company that comes and repaints your office, you know, and you call them up about this time of year and you say, hey, I need to give you a 1099 for the $2,000 or whatever that I paid you. And if they say, well, actually, we're a corporation, you don't need to give us one, then fine, you're off the hook.
Huh.
And I'm not sure about the reason for that rule. Like maybe the IRS thinks that corporations are more honest than LLCs. I don't really know. But since it's an exception, we're going to go with it. So corporations, you don't have to give 1099s to corporations unless, and we've got one more exception, unless it's a lawyer. The lawyer just needs a 1099 no matter what. Sorry.
Lawyers are exceptions in society always.
Yeah, I guess. So those are the people that you need to give 1099s to. There's also a dollar threshold. So if you pay someone less than $600, and that's not just in one payment, that's like cumulatively. So suppose you pay someone $500 over the course of the year, then you don't have to give a 1099. Let me give a couple other examples. So if you pay someone $1,000 for services and it's just an individual, but you pay $100 or you pay 500 of it by a credit card, then that's only $500 that would be eligible for a 1099, and because it's under the threshold, you don't have to give one. If you pay someone in like 3 installments of $300 each, so it's $900 over the course of the year, then you give them a 1099 for $900. So
what about small side jobs, like someone who earned more than 600, babysitting or nannying or cleaning houses? That's not an official business, but
great question. So we're talking right now about the person whose responsibility it is to file the 1099. So that's the person who's paying. And you only do 1099s as a business.
Oh, okay.
So an individual who hires a babysitter, and there's other rules about like household employees. So I'm not going to go there right now. You should talk to your people about that. But so if you are an individual who does not have a business and you hire people to come like, you know, do yard work or watch your kids or whatever, those are not subject to the 1099 regulations we're talking about today. Okay. There are rules about payroll and household employees for childcare and things like that. You should talk to your CPA about those.
Cool.
So
great. Thank you, Julie.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, on to the next one. How do I prepare 1099?
Okay, old school way to do it was you go to Office Depot and you buy printed forms and you download the software and you fill them out and you print them and you mail them to the IRS and to your vendors. Don't do that. It's a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt and a huge waste of time. What you want to do is you want to get on Google and you want to search. You type in the search bar, file 1099s online. And you're just going to look at the results and you're going to click through some of the results that pop up until you find a website that makes sense to you and it looks like it's going to be easy to use. You should expect to pay, I don't know, between $3 to $5 per form that you file. And the way that it works is you are just going to type in the information. You're going to type in the information online. And you're going to put in the dollar amount into the right box and you're going to hit submit. And a good service will do 2 things. Number 1, it will submit it to the IRS for you. And number 2, it will also email a secure copy to the vendor.
Oh, nice.
So you don't have to print one out and put it in the mail. Some of them also, if you don't have an email address for your vendors, some of them will, even for an additional fee, say, you know, an extra $2 or $3, will actually put one in the mail for you, a physical copy. And then you've met all of your legal obligations. Another thing to consider is whether or not you are required by your state to file the 1099s. Of course, I don't know all of the state rules. In Utah, you are not required to file 1099s with the state. in almost all cases. So you don't have to worry about it there. So it's just filing with the IRS and then providing a copy to the vendor before January 31st. So
do we do that as a service, like our bookkeeper file?
Yes. We do it for our bookkeeping clients. And so what we do for our clients is, since we've been doing their bookkeeping, we review their bookkeeping for people that might be eligible for 1099s. We discuss with the client which ones truly are 1099 eligible. And then for a small fee, we file those and deliver them to the vendors as well. So.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, let's keep chugging along. Pull up my agenda. So next question. What happens if I don't give someone a 1099? That needs one.
Okay, so this is where I said they've been kind of upping the restrictions. My dog's playing with a squeaky toy. I'm sorry for the background noise.
It's real life.
Yeah, it is. So, so they have been trying to get more people to comply. And so one of the things that has been implemented in the past couple of years has been late fees or, penalties for not filing. Of course, a lot of this is contingent on whether or not you get caught not complying with the law. So now when you fill out your business tax return, there's a box that, your CPA will ask you at some point, have you issued 1099s to everyone that you're supposed to?
Interesting.
So
okay.
You have to check that box that you've done it. And it's lying on your tax return if you check it and you haven't done it. If you file late, you might get a penalty notice in the mail, and you might have to pay that to the IRS later. If you don't file a 1099 for somebody and they report you, then you could get in trouble as well. So,
right.
One thing that we haven't touched on is how do you get the information for the 1099 filing? And just so you know, the form you should ask for from your vendors is called a W-9. So just go to the IRS, go to irs.gov and type in W-9 and pull up the form. It's PDF you can print out. And our recommendation is that before you give anybody any money for services, you force them to fill out a W-9. And that W-9 has the person's name or their company legal name, their mailing address, and then their tax ID. And if you have a copy of that, even if it turns out they gave you a fraudulent tax ID or something, you have this information with their signature that shows they gave you that information, and so that's what you use to file. Yeah. So,
cool.
if you don't file 1099s, you will eventually get caught and penalized by the IRS, and it's not a happy thing to have.
The government's getting smarter each year.
Yeah. I will also add, it is better to file if you're unsure if somebody needs a 1099. It is better to file a 1099 unnecessarily.
Good to know.
Than it is to not file one when you did need to, right?
True.
So if you are confused about, what payment method was used and whether or not amounts need to be included on the 1099, just put all of it. And then the person who receives the 1099 will sort it out on their own taxes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we're down to the wire. Last question. This has been some great information for all our business owners out there. Thank you. So our last question today for you, Julie, is: do I have to report income if I did not receive a 1099 for it?
So this is from the other side. This is for businesses that receive 1099s. And unfortunately, in the United States, the law says that you have to report all of your income. So it doesn't matter if you got the 1099 or not, you are supposed to report it. So yes, you have to report it. And that's why you need a bookkeeper, is to track it so that you know what your income is and you are prepared for your tax liability. So
right.
Yep.
Great. Well, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much again, Julie.
Yeah, of
All of
course.
these live episodes are posted on our YouTube channel and our blog, backyardbookkeeper.com. Just hit the blog tab. And so if you missed one, you can go back and look at our archive and join us next week, Friday morning, for our 5th episode of Open Book Discussions with the Backyard Bookkeeper. Thanks so much, and thanks for
Thank
watching
you.
those. Join in for the replay. See ya.
All right.
Have a great
Okay.
weekend.
Bye.
Bye-bye.